Okay, it says I'm live. Hello, everyone. Wait, where's my chat? Ugh, I'm a little all over the place today. I don't know what it is. It's just one of those days. Okay, so I see Carla is here. Hello. We have Ange. Hi, thanks for being here. Okay, let me just quickly check if this is also up on YouTube. Mhm. All these buttons. Okay, I can see it. Sound is there as well. Perfect. Hello, happy Saturday. How you guys doing? And also happy Imbolc, because that's going to be the topic for today. And since this live stream kind of falls kind of directly on the witchy Sabbath day, I thought, why not talk about that? I don't usually talk about my witchcraft rituals and what I do. And sometimes I combine that with tarot, not always, but I thought, well, why not make it a topic today? Because it's the day. So let's just take that as a topic. And for those that are not familiar with witchcraft and what Imbolc is, and yes, I did take notes because my brain is kind of fuzzy today. So Imbolc, like we're now in the time exactly between the winter solstice, and I have cat hair on my face everywhere. So every once in a while, I might try to pick one off. So don't be alarmed. So we're in the time between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. And this is the time where especially in the olden days when people were doing their rituals and everything, they were also already making plans for the harvest. So they were thinking about, okay, what do we need to plant this year? What kind of stuff do we need? What do we put on our fields? So they were already planning for that to then know what kind of seeds go out onto the fields. And so this is the time where you would reflect on your goals and what you want in the new year. So in our case, 2025. Is there something you want to achieve? Is there something you want to let go of from the old year? And with Imbolc, this is like traditionally there would be a lot of like fire rituals, like bonfires, candle magic, this kind of stuff. And also in a lot of rituals, and that's kind of what I do, there's a lot of like food offerings and things like that. Hi, Crystal. Thanks for being here. So one thing that I traditionally do, if I remember that it is a Sabbath day, because truth be told, sometimes I forget them. But what I usually do is either bake a cake or bread or something that is like my food offering. And so tomorrow I'm going to bake a cake. I got my ingredients today, and the food offering that I made today was I made some really fancy food for my cat, like getting some real chicken, not just normal cat food. I put some rice in there and I mixed it with her regular cat food, trying to make it a little bit fancy for her. She ate some of it, not all of it, but it was enough so that she would, I can't see it, but she's on the chair behind me. She's sleeping. And I hope it stays that way for the entire stream and that she's not screaming again. Because if you've seen my previous episodes, my cat can be quite talkative. So I'm hoping that I kind of send her into a food coma with that. Yes, I did have ulterior motives with that, but okay. So people are saying hello to each other. Let's go. So is anyone here in the chat also like doing witchcraft? Are you celebrating Imbolc? Are you setting any intentions for the new year? Because this is something that you can very easily do today. The way that I would do it, there's like two ways that I usually do. Either write it on a piece of paper, like what do I want? What are my intentions that I'm setting for this new year? What do I want to achieve? And then I burn that and give that over to the universe. Or I write in like an entire spell and then burn that. Because one thing that I started doing years ago, instead of keeping all my spells in a book of shadows, I write them down, I say them in my ritual, and then I always burn them. So all the rituals that I've been doing over the past, I don't know, at the very least, past 10 years, probably even more, I can't remember what I did anymore because I always burn them and I give it over to the universe. And in that, like, out of sight, out of mind kind of thing. And I just let the universe work its magic. I'm setting good health intentions. Yeah, good health is important. Definitely setting intentions, paper, burn, yeah. And another way that I would do it is if I would get like a stick candle, like a long candle, and then I would choose 1, 2, or maybe 3 words, depending on how big the candle is, and choose something like an empowering word to go with that. I don't know. It depends on what I wanted to do in that year. Like this year, something that I would write on it, because I would carve those words into the candle and then let it burn down in one session, like completely, and then also in that sense give it over to the universe. And so I guess something that I would write this year is focus, because that is something that I really need, because sometimes, yeah, my brain is all over the place because I'm already thinking 10 steps ahead, but I need to remember to be in the here and now. So focus, also probably ambition would be a word that I could write on there, because I am planning new things, but sometimes that little bit of procrastination creeps in there. Like, oh, there's a new episode of my favorite show. I need to watch that. Bam, done, day gone. And yeah, so those kind of things I would write on the candle. I would carve that into the candle and then just burn it down. So those were the kind of fire rituals that I would do. Okay. So I got some questions prepared today as well, and I need to look at them because now today I wrote my questions. I don't know if you can see that on a little Post-it. So if I'm squinting, it's because I might at some point face the fact that I might need reading glasses. I mean, I'm 43, and so far I haven't needed any glasses. Knock on wood. But sometimes I have those moments where I want to read something, and I'm already doing this like, okay, I need to hold this further away in order to read this. Yeah. Being confronted with your own mortality and your age, it's not fun. It's not fun at all. So on my little tiny Post-it, I wrote down, since I want to talk this in combination with tarot, which tarot cards embody the Imbolc energy for you? And Phoenix Fire is here. Hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. So, okay, I pulled some cards from my Haunted House deck because these cards actually go really well with this whole idea of Imbolc. And if there ever was a card for like Candlemas or Imbolc, it was this one, the Ace of Wands, because it is a candle, and I've also written on that candle. So what did I actually write on here? Spark in the darkness and beginning passion. Yeah, that's a good thing to have on this card. So yeah, the Ace of Wands, like starting that fire and, setting that intention and then letting it burn, sending it out into the universe, and, preparing for something new. Like you're thinking about what you want, you're already thinking about the outcome and all of this. So yeah, the candle, I think this is a really good card. So if you have a deck of cards with you, please tell me which cards would you associate with the Imbolc energy. Now, another card, and we're also in the year of the Hermit, is the Hermit. Like he's got his lantern there, so he's got that light shining ahead of him. And yeah, he's lighting his path that he is walking towards, and also looking for that wisdom. He has, like, he's doing that journey with a specific intention of gaining more knowledge and finding certain things, like whatever he's looking for. By the way, sip sip. And yeah, so looking for that guidance and that wisdom within that is needed in order to make your plans and your intentions come true. Because, like those farmers back in the days when they were planting the harvest, they would think, okay, we need some fruits and vegetables, we need corn, we need wheat, and all these things because we want to make bread, we want to have, some vitamins. Um, we have this many cows, so maybe this is how many we can have for food, and these however many we leave for milk and stuff. Same with like chicken. So they needed to make a plan and do that wisely, thinking ahead. And that's kind of what I see in the Hermit. So since the Imbolc thing is all about fire and a very fiery energy, I put the Tower in here as well. And you can see there's a lot of fire lighting up that tower. And so for me, the Tower, like, it's not the typical, intention setting that's in the card, but this is the rebuilding. And that's also this time coming from the old year into the new year when you want to leave old stuff behind, possibly rebuild. And for me, this is also a card that kind of fits with my home renovation project, because that room that I'm turning into an office now, that one was completely destroyed. Like, I have to strip all of the wallpaper. It is really, like, that room was left in such a bad condition by the person who lived in there. And like, it's one thing, like, getting the smell out, because there's also a smoker in there. And so the wallpaper is dirty beyond belief. So it kind of felt like a Tower moment, like being in that room. And so stripping everything and starting over, like getting all the wallpaper off the walls. I already bought new wallpaper, and in about a month, my family is going to come here and help me put that stuff up. So yeah, completely new wallpaper. I'm putting new carpet in. I already bought some curtains. I bought some pictures for the walls. So that room is getting a complete makeover, and that it was a Tower moment, but I'm turning it into something good now. So looking at the chat, okay. Now another card, since this Sabbath day is linked to the goddess Bridget, that is associated with like inspiration, creativity, healing, and all that. I chose the Empress card. Like, she also, oops, am I still live? I just saw a glitch. Can you still see me? So I chose that Empress card because she also has that fire there, and she is like the creation. So she's also, in a way, growing the seed. Okay, you can still see me. And yes, so she's growing the seed. Something has been planted inside of her. And she's also like the whole inspiration thing and creativity, doing something new. So for that, like, as kind of an embodiment of the goddess Bridget and like the whole feminine aspect of this Sabbath day, that's why I chose the Empress. Another card that I chose is the Justice card, because with the scales in balance, like, we're now right in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. So just like on the outside, like darkness and light, we kind of have to bring that into balance in the way that we plan our day, structure our day, and everything. But also when it comes to the intention setting and everything, we also have to have that balance within ourselves, whether it's like outer light and the inner darkness, or the outer darkness and the inner light. We kind of have to make sure that we keep this in a kind of balance, because if we want too much, we risk burnout. If we don't want enough, it might not come true. So you have to find that middle ground in order to, make it work in a healthy, sustainable way. And so that's what I chose the Justice card for. Now, one card, of course, for the fire energy I had to choose is the Sun card. And the Sun is kind of like the essence of Imbolc, where, it's like the promise of warmth. There's the promise of growth. Like, she even got the sunflowers there. So the harvest, like, you can already see what the harvest is bringing in this card. And it's just this promise of joy, that whatever it is, like, you put your energy into that, and you're looking forward to something, and you do that in a very joyful way. Like, if you plant a seed in a sense, like, it's not going to happen anyway, of course it's not going to happen. But if you put your intentions into it in a good way, then that's where that hope comes in. And Tony is here. Hi, thanks for being here. Okay, where was I? Another card that I chose is the Wheel of Fortune. Now, this one looks a bit different here. This is more like a wall safe kind of thing in the wall there. But even with that, you take something out and you use it for the new year. But in the typical wheel, it's like the whole turning. My favorite wheel card, I don't have that with me right now, but it is from the Witch's Tarot, the James Bond Tarot, where there's a wheel stuck in a tree, and it has like all those different weather things. Like, there's a cloud, a sun, a rainbow, a thunderstorm, all these things. And I kind of like that. That depiction is, I guess, my favorite wheel card that I've ever seen. And so, yeah, it talks about, like, even with all the manifesting, there will be troubling times, there will be good times. So you will be tested, your endurance, your perseverance, and everything. And with that, like, even when the wheel goes down to like the bad place, it will come back up again. So this is the hang in there card, like, don't give up. Magician and Chariot. Funny you say that, because my next card is the Magician. Yeah, I chose that one as well, not just for the magic aspect, but yeah, the Magician, this is the manifester, the person who is planning and executing all of this, using the power, and yeah, like, putting the intention into the seed that wants to grow to get the desired outcome. Like, this is the manifestation moment. Like, when I set my intention, and then I'm like manifesting, and this is the living in the end card, as they call it in manifestation, where you already plan what you're going to do with the stuff, like, once you get it. Because, in manifestation, you have that, like, you imagine how it feels having what you want to kind of make it a reality, instead of living in doubt, where it's like, oh, it's never going to happen anyway. Like, for me, one thing that's probably never going to happen, and see, I'm even jinxing it, winning the lottery, like millions of stuff. Because every time when I play the lottery and I choose my numbers and all that stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, what would I buy with that? But there's that little voice inside of my head that's like, it's never going to happen anyway. So it doesn't happen. So the Magician has to be very clear with intentions and all that stuff in order to make it work. And oops. Does it come with 6 Lovers cards in that deck? There's not 6 lovers in the card. There's 3 people in the Lovers card. I can show you that. Well, if you want to see it, I can show you. It's not my favorite Lovers card anymore. Like, this is the kind of card in that deck that I'm actually dreading getting in a reading, especially for myself. It's this one. Because there is another person watching there. And so this Lovers card always has kind of like cheating. Like there's a negative vibe for me with this card. Like I don't really like getting this one. So like, yeah, side note. Okay, so oh, you mean the James Bond deck? No, in the James Bond deck, there's two naked people ravaging each other. Um, okay, so the next one that I have also in terms of, that feminine energy, like Bridget, the High Priestess, and just like the Magician, manifesting stuff, and, the divine feminine energy, like kind of like between the Magician and the High Priestess, like the bridge between that, the manifestation, the thing, the thinking about the seed, what do we want, the connection to the spiritual realm, which is also like linked to the feminine energy, and honoring your intuition and the guidance from your higher self that you get in order to complete this process. Ah, yeah, the Haunted House, it is my favorite deck because it has such cool cards. Like, I guess if I had to choose one deck to work with for the rest of my life, if I could never work with any other deck, I think this is the one that I would choose, even though I have other favorites and stuff, but this is the one that I always come back to. Okay, another card that I chose is actually the Fool, because in terms of like new beginning, new year, new intentions and all that, I mean, the Fool is at the beginning of the journey. So every year we start the journey new by thinking about what we want to plant, what intentions, what are we going to do this year, how are we going to make it better than the last year. So for that, I chose the Fool. And then simply based on like the optics of this deck, I chose some other cards as well. Like this, I love this card. This is the best Two of Wands I've ever seen. And there's also the candles here. So the intentions, looking across, the sea and imagining, okay, what is beyond there? Like, how do I get to that point? Making those plans and all of that. Like, I really love this. Like, this is like a ritual card. Like, I'm sitting here, whether it's connecting with spirits or doing a tarot reading, something like this. This is like the perfect magic ritual cards. Of course, I had to choose it. I think you helped me appreciate it more than I did previously. Oh, really? Which one? The this one or the James Bond deck? So another one that kind of really fits well into this is the Three of Wands, because she's holding the candlelight there and she's moving through the darkness with that. So yeah, we're still in the darkness times because it doesn't get light outside too early. Like it's still dark in the mornings when some people go to work, and it's dark when people come home from work. So this is the navigating through the darkness, but doing it without fear, or at least with the promise of, if I do this, then I'm going to discover something. Oh, the Haunted House. Okay. Yeah, this deck is really cool. So yeah, moving through, what is the word that I'm looking for? Moving through the unknown, like trusting that moving forward is actually going to bring you that progress that you're looking for. And yeah, but I'm going to talk about this a little bit later too. There's also a shadow aspect to all of that. And for that, I chose the Seven of Wands because, with fire, it's a tricky thing. Fire can give life, but fire can also burn down, as we've also seen in the Tower card. So you have to also manage your ambitions and everything, because sometimes that fire can get out of control, like in that Seven of Wands here. So also managing expectations. It is nice to set your intentions and have expectations, but you also need to manage them, because if they're unreasonable, Yeah. The Six of Wands here, so like that victory card. So the fire also using it as a celebration kind of aspect and being like, yay, we did it. So we use the fire, like dancing around the fire and all that stuff in honor of something, celebrating something, and just having a good time, basically. So when things work out. Another fiery card here, the Eight of Wands, with those wands coming directly at you, lit on fire. So yeah, moving forward, everything is moving a little bit more quickly than expected, maybe. And you have to have a certain passion and fire behind everything, because otherwise, what's the point? Like if you do things half-assed, then that's not good. So you have to have that passion, that little spark behind it, in order to also stick with it when times get tough. And the last card that I chose is the Page of Pentacles. Like she has a pentacle there, and out of that is growing a little flower. So once again, talking about that seed, planting that seed, manifesting what you want it to be, giving your intention into it, you know, giving it that light, that the good thought and all of this. So that's why I chose the Page of Pentacles for that. All right. And sip, sip. Now, one thing that I have also done for today is I created a specific tarot spread for this. So I just call it my Imbolc spread. And the pentagram is and forever will be my favorite symbol. So I use that to create a spread in, well, the order that I would draw it. Technically, well, I usually start with the 5, but oh well. So I gave those positions the names: the seed, the nourishment, the obstacle, the guidance, and the bloom, sticking with the whole planting a seed and, you know, harvest thing. So the seed, I'm going to tell you what each of those means. So the seed talks about the potential of the new beginning that is within you, or whatever intention it is that you're setting. So with this, it's like what is emerging from the depths of your subconscious. Like what is it? What kind of seed do you actually want to plant? And then the nourishment is what kind of resources are supporting the growth. So the nourishment would be fertilizer, water for the seed. So how can you fertilize? How can you water your intentions, internal, external support, in order to make this come true? The obstacle is the challenges or the resistance that might hinder the growth of this. And the guidance is the wisdom that you can use to overcome obstacles that would hinder this growth. And the bloom is, of course, the outcome. So what will this eventually become? What will this seed blossom into? So that's what I created. So we still got a little bit of time. How about I pull some cards and we do a little collective reading? If you have a deck of cards, please do the spread with me. Tell me what you get. And let's read for the collective. So what kind of seed are we planting for 2025? Okay, so yeah. Okay, I'm taking this as the first card. Now the nourishment. The obstacle. The guidance. And the bloom. Okay. Huh. Does this read diagonally as 3 card spread 2, 1 for... I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like, I just put the numbers in here like the way that you would draw the stars, so I would not do it in a circle because I went with how it's drawn. So it doesn't really matter where you put number 1 or like started, but it's like in the way of drawing the pentagram. Okay, so I got some cards here. Let's see what 2025 brings. So the seed, the 9 of Swords. Oh my God. So the new beginnings stirring inside of the collective. I guess we are at a time of uncertainty, especially like there's a lot of election stuff that we just had an election in America. Here in Germany currently, fun fact, we're without a government because the chancellor has asked the trust question, and he didn't get the trust from like the cabinet or whatever you call it. And so currently we don't have a real acting government right now. So on February 23rd, I believe, new elections will be held and then a new government will be formed. So yeah, with the 9 of Swords, the seed right now, there's a lot of uncertainty. And I guess the seed that we can put into the ground is no matter what happens, life still goes on. So we're going to focus on the stuff that we can actually control instead of worrying about the big world out there, because everything down there is always going to be chaotic. I mean, let's face it, look at a history book, there's always been chaos. But the one thing that we can, to some degree, control is our own life and what we do with it. So I'd say it's not the time to stress about all that stuff, but rather focus and really think about, okay, what do I want? How do I want it? Why do I want it? And sorry, not worry about the other stuff too much, because at the end of the day, the people in charge are going to change, and every few years, whatever, new stuff come and gone, stuff gets better, stuff gets worse, whatever. So let's focus on the things that are right in front of us and the things that we can do for our lives. So for the nourishment, I got the Queen of Swords. So the resources that we can use internally and externally. And for me, the Queen of Swords, she's the no BS kind of character. And she has all that knowledge. Like, she is standing in that library there. And so she knows what knowledge to pull from. And I guess that's the thing that we can do. Like, we know so much and we have so many resources. We have, for everything that we don't know, we have the internet, we have books, everything. And so this is now the time where we rely on the knowledge that we have. Like, in order to not get totally stressed out, let's just rely on the things that are there, the facts, the knowledge that we have, what we know, how to use it, and just, make a plan, execute the plan with what we have. Don't worry about the things that we don't know. Let's nourish the things that we do know. Okay, the next one is the obstacle. That's an interesting one. The challenges or inner resistance hindering or potentially hindering this. I got the Sun card for that. So we got an optimistic card for a hindrance. So the first thing that came to mind is Icarus. Flew too close to the sun and got burned. So I guess this is also a way of managing expectations once again, and making sure that the things that we are planning are realistic and achievable, because we don't want to set ourselves up for failure right away. It is nice to have big dreams and big goals, but maybe start small. Start thinking big picture, like 10-year plan, 5-year plan, whatever it is. but don't start with, wanting to have the big mansion right away. Start with finding that job that gets you that money. Start living a bit more frugal to save enough money, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, this is don't turn this into an Icarus moment. I guess that's what I would read out of the Sun card here, because otherwise we get burned. And the guidance, so the wisdom that we can draw upon to get over this obstacle. I got the Ace of Wands here. So once again, it is all about the intentions that we're setting, making sure that we set realistic intentions, make sure that we stand behind those intentions so that whatever we plan, that is actually achievable. So it's nice to shoot for the stars, but let's keep it down here on Earth where we are. So what kind of resources do we have to make the stuff happen that we want to make happen? And what do we need? Who do we need? Can we get this? So make sure that it is realistic. So with the guidance, I'd say, yeah, keep it real. That's the guidance that I see. And for the bloom, so the eventual outcome, I have the 9 of Wands here, and she's coming out of that dark maze behind her, stepping into the light. So the outcome, I guess, yeah, I think it's not going to be an easy year, especially since there is a lot of stuff going on in the world. And like I said, we don't even have a government right now. And we don't know what's going to happen with other countries working together, whatever. But even if this year is going to be, or feeling like we're in the dark maze, eventually we will come out of it. And after a while, we will see why certain things happen the way they do. And we might be able to see the bigger picture. And I think that's something, like, we just need to trust the process. Everything is happening for a reason. Everything is good for something. Everyone is good for something. Like, people can be a lesson to know what we don't want, how we don't want things to happen, all these things. So at the end of the day, the wheel will come around. It will get better. Not right away. Funny thing, though, at the bottom of the deck, I got the 10 of Wands. Yeah, being burned at the stake. So yeah, with the whole fire energy, once again, I know that the times right now are troubling, but burning everything to the ground just to start over is probably not a good way to do this. So let's just, focus on ourselves. I think with that we can do a lot of stuff, like not focusing too much on others, like planting our own garden so that we don't fuel more fire. Let's just let them do their job, the people that are in power now, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna take this off now. Okay, let's look at the chat here. So Tony, for the seat, the Emperor, sitting pretty, taking stock, planning, strategy. Yeah, strategy, like the Emperor, yeah, really good for strategy. For the Nourish card, the Knight of Cups, changing emotions, being led by the flow, menopause is happening. Oh, tell me about, I'm hoping that I will finally, I think I'm in perimenopause, however you call that. It's about time, because I want that shit gone. Or Mars is coming, prepare for battle. Ooh. Okay, then we have the obstacle, 4 of Pentacles, moving forward on health aspect, needing to balance my spoons. What kind of deck do you have? Are there spoons on your card, I'm assuming? Yeah, balancing stuff, like I said, like with the Justice card that I showed, like the whole balance thing is definitely important. For the guidance, you got the 3 of Pentacles and the Wheel. May need some input from different sources to help move forward with ease. Yeah, we don't have to do everything by ourselves. We have resources and we should use them. For the bloom, justice, balance will be found. That is perfect. That is a good end. Oh, you gotta go. Okay, thank you for being here. Happy Imbolc. We live with the frequency we create. Yeah, it's all about what kind of energy do we put out, what is in us, what do we project onto others. Oh, the fallen angels. Spoon theory is an energy term. Ah, okay. The fallen angels. I only know the fallen angels oracle. Is that the one? No. Is there a fallen angels tarot? Is there? Hmm. Okay. So let's take these cards to the side here. Okay, what does my little tiny post-it say? Okay, how do I mix tarot and witchcraft? Okay, low Scarabeo deck. Oh, okay, okay. I don't have a picture right now, but I got Google here. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just gonna look it up. Yeah. Here. Okay. I'm curious. I just want to know what it looks like. I see a Dark Angels tarot, and I see the Fallen Angel cards by Nigel Suckling. Oh, the Dark Angels. Okay. Okay. That's the one that I saw. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Okay, what was I? Okay, mixing tarot with magic. So, for me, like one thing that I would do to maybe help me set intentions, like if I don't really know where I'm going or something, I can pull out my cards and I can do a reading for myself to check in on the energy that's going on and to see, okay, what is the thing that I could focus on right now? And yeah, tarot can help me narrow things down because sometimes there's just a lot of thoughts all at once and it's kind of hard to pick one and prioritize one. So with that, tarot can help pick one out of the lineup and then like do a spread and see how I can set those intentions before then actually doing the ritual. So that is one way that I do it. Another thing that I do, like I have back here, that thing here, that whole thing a little bit more. There's my altar. And something that I also do for Sabbath day sometimes or for a ritual is I will go through either a tarot deck or I do this a lot with oracle cards and I will choose specific cards that have certain things written on them and put them down on my altar for manifestation. So that is another way that I use them. And I still have some cards there from some oracle decks. I think the cards that I still have are from my Angel Answers oracle deck from She Who Shall Not Be Named, but I really like that deck. I got her Life Purpose cards. That is also still there. Sometimes I put some cards from my Gabriel oracle, also from She Who Shall Not Be Named. I also like that one. Yeah, Gabriel is also standing on that altar over there. And yeah, so that is one way that I can combine cards with magic. So choosing specific ones to set intentions or to find out what my intentions could be. Yeah, do you use cards in any way for rituals? Does anyone do rituals? Like how would you do that? And so otherwise, like, okay, I have another question. Let me just get my notes. I have my notes everywhere. So another thing that I was thinking about, so what Imbolc lesson can I integrate into my tarot practice? And so in terms of tarot reading, I can use that like looking at shifts that are happening in terms of like, what is the seed? What is it growing into? What does it represent? What is important? How do things shift and how do I manifest? So if I have someone else that I'm reading for, like that Imbolc energy would be like, in that case, I could be like the fertilizer, basically. So like nourishing the client, so to speak, in a way that they know what their seed is, how to care for it, how to manifest it, how to let it grow. And for myself also, yeah, being patient, because that is also one thing, like with the whole idea of the harvest, it's not something that happens overnight. Even if I'm now at the point where I'm starting to plan for the harvest, but it's still going to take the majority of the year until I actually get to that point. So yeah, understanding all of that, having patience with myself and understanding, giving other people that idea of patience, and nurturing, the whole idea of nurturing things. So that is something that I can pay attention to in tarot readings. And when it comes to spirituality, it helps me cultivate awareness of shifts that happen within myself, because yeah, I do a lot of shadow work with my cards, and what I do is, it's not about predicting the future, it's about checking into the here and now. So what's actually going on right now, especially if there's like a moment of confusion and I'm not really sure what's happening or why. And so yeah, in that moment, I use my tarot to find that light in the darkness, to light the candle and to make sure, okay, am I on the right path? Am I using the right fertilizer or the right nutritions for that seed? If not, how can I tweak it? How can I make things better? Things like that. And also working with kindness and compassion to myself, to allow myself the space to, like, if I am looking at myself as the seed, to grow, and realizing, okay, I don't have to grow overnight. It's a process, giving myself time to do that. You also have the Fallen Oracle, Fallen Angels Oracle as well. Can't even speak anymore. I love that one. I love that deck. Okay, so that was that. And for my last question, what are possible shadow aspects of Imbolc? And I've already kind of touched on that with the whole patience. So one thing is impatience. We want things when we want them, as is our nature. And impatience is a big thing. So when you're already thinking about the harvest and like you want it, like you're saving up that money to buy the car, and you make the plan on how to save and everything, but you really want to have that car. So in order to get to that point, yeah, impatience can be a bitch sometimes. So that is one of the shadow aspects of that, because we're just so looking forward to something. And another shadow aspect is also fear of the unknown, because even though the best planning and like putting it into the soil and nurturing it, giving it water, making sure it has perfect sunlight exposure, whatever it needs, but it is never a guarantee that things will work out. We can hope for the best, but there's no guarantee that comes with it. So there is always this little fear, like, "Oh, what if it doesn't work? What if the crop fails? What if we don't have anything to eat for the winter?" Basically. So yeah, what do we do then? So do we have a plan B? Sometimes it's good to have a plan B in the back of your head. So that's why you sometimes plan more in case of emergency, so that you have a little bit left in your pantry or in your savings or whatever, so that this fear of the unknown can be managed and made a little bit smaller. But regardless, that fear is always there. Another thing, of course, that goes hand in hand with impatience is wanting to force the results. Like, I want this and I want this now and I need this to work, and there is no plan B, and it has to work. So being kind of stubborn about it and, pushing yourself too hard, which can also lead to bad mental health situations like burnout, for example. Like what do we have here? The Ten of Swords. Like this is complete burnout, like literally. And so we have to make sure that we take care of ourselves. We ourselves are the seed. So don't burn out. So take care of expectations, manage expectations. It's easier said than done, I know. But yeah, so don't get discouraged. If things don't go as smoothly as you want them to go, don't get discouraged. And another thing that we have with like the Empress and the High Priestess, the inner guidance, the higher guidance, not ignoring it. Or like when you ignore that stuff, like that is one of the shadow aspects, when you are very eager in the beginning of doing something, but then you kind of neglect that gut feeling that tells you, maybe I should do it this way. And then you're like, no. The book says to do it this way. That's the correct way to do it. Or my finance guy said, this is the way to do it. Or the guy from the dealership said, this is the way to do it. But there's that little voice inside of you. And if you ignore that, it might also lead to a failed crop or a failed investment or something. So don't leave that inner voice unheard. And pay attention to that, because this is also part of like being in touch with nature, especially as a witch. Like this is your world. So you listen to those kind of things. So you shouldn't ignore that. And yeah, so tarot can help in this kind of sense when it comes to doing a reading, checking in with yourself to help identify those fears and to show you how to manage them, for example. It can help in recognizing limitations, our own limitations, like, okay, where do I need to put more effort into, and where am I putting too much into it? Like going with the Justice card again, with a balance. So how do I keep everything in balance? And yeah, also, of course, in doing the tarot reading, that is the best way to connect with your intuition, of course. So yeah, that was what I had on my little Post-it for today. So yeah, are any of you going to do anything for Imbolc, whether it's like any kind of food offerings like baking or cooking or something, or doing some rituals? I think one thing that I'm still going to do is I'm going to write something on a piece of paper and burn it. I just have to make sure that I don't set the smoke detector up, like that it's going to be beeping. Because that's one thing that I hate about the apartments. Like they put these smoke detectors in everywhere because they're not even linked to the fire department. They're just, making noise. So yeah, I used to do the rituals here in my winter garden, but now it's like, can't do it anymore. Not the way that I used to. Plus, one thing that I also learned that I didn't know for the majority of years is that all that incense and aroma oils and all that stuff is actually bad for cats and dogs. It's not good for them. They should not breathe that in. So all the smelly candles that I made myself and all that stuff, I can't really use that. All the incense sticks that I bought, can't use them anymore with my cat being here. So one more reason why I'm looking forward to have that extra room, because then I can close the door, open the window, and do it safely in there without my cat being affected. So yeah, one more reason to get that project done. Almost ASAP. Okay, well, that's it, what I have for today's episode, and we're almost at the hour, like 5 more minutes. I didn't actually think that I would have this much to talk about. I thought this would be a very short episode today, but surprise, surprise, time goes by pretty fast. Okay, so I want to thank everyone who was here today. Thank you very much for showing up. And yeah, if anyone who's watching this later, like if you do the spread and if you want to share what you were reading for the collective, you can put your reading in the comments section and tell us what you read. Or how do you celebrate Imbolc? Like, do you have any specific rituals? How do you set intentions? How do you grow the seed? Let me know. I always love to hear from other people. How do you mix tarot and witchcraft, maybe? So yeah. All right. So I think it's time to say goodbye for today. There will be another episode next Saturday, same time, same channel. I'd love to see you there. And I hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend. So with that, I'm saying bye till next Saturday. Have a good one.